Good morning, G24. How can I help?
Oh, hello, yeah. I live in Penrith in Cumbria. I noticed that one of your car parks there, I don't believe there's adequate signage for people entering the car park, so I've contacted the Information Commissioner and they said I should bring it to your attention first.
Why are you bringing it to our attention? Sorry, have you got a parking charge notice?
No, I believe that your signage isn't adequate for vehicles entering the car park where your organisation, I believe, are monitoring car park charges and fees, and there's a CCTV camera there.
It's not CCTV, but yeah. Okay, you just need to write in. We're just an advice line on telling people how to appeal, so that wouldn't actually come under our
All right, have you got another
umbrella.
number I can ring? There's maybe somebody else I can speak to, is there, who in your organisation?
No, it wouldn't be. It would just be in writing, really, through to the Gerrards Cross address.
Right, you should be able to make a complaint on the phone as well, to be honest. There should be adjustments that people should be able to do.
I don't know why you're phoning, sir, if it's not affecting you.
Well, tell you what, just slow down a bit. Slow down if you don't mind, with greatest respect. Before you tell me what your perception, why I'm doing this, that, and the other, first of all, in principle, under the Data Protection Act, it's potentially unlawful to have CCTV without adequate signage. That's why I'm calling, because as a person going about my lawful business and CCTV picks my vehicle up, even if I'm not parking in the car park and going into the car park and perhaps doing a U-turn for whatever reason, I have every right to ask why there's an adequate signage on there. That's the reason I'm calling. So would you have?
So you have a parking charge notice?
No. I believe your organisation is breached. Be very careful here. I believe you organised, before you kind of shut me off here, I believe your organisation is potentially breaching Principle 1 of the Data Protection Act. So have you got a different number I can speak to somebody on, or is that possible?
But because you haven't got a parking charge notice number,
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I understand all that. Have you got a different number I can speak to somebody on, please?
We don't, I'm afraid, no.
Because I record all my calls and I'll just pass the information on to the Information Commissioner.
Right, you shouldn't be recording me because I have not said you can
Section
record
36 of the Data Protection Act, I'm allowed to record any calls as I'm an individual.
You cannot record my call because
I'll send this recording on to them as well.
Yeah, allowed you to record
me.
I
don't need your.
You do need my permission to record me, and I've said no.
No.
You're not to record me.
Section 36 of the Data Protection Act. Have you got a manager to speak to, please?
No. You are not allowed to record my call.
Be very careful what you say there. Be very careful what you say, because you're wrong.
What I'm saying.
You're actually, I don't know why. First of all, love, why are you trying to raise your voice when you're wrong? Now, I'm not being funny with you. I've explained to you in the Section 36 of the Data Protection Act, as an individual, I'm exempt. So I fall under the radar of the Data Protection Act in relation to phone recording. Now, that's the legality of it. Now, do you have a manager I can speak to regarding your cameras? Is that possible? Have you got a different phone number? Or have you got an email address I could perhaps send this information to regarding the cameras?
Right, regarding the cameras, I'll put you through to my manager. One moment.
That's great. Thanks very much.
Hello, my colleague has passed you over. How can I help?
Hello, yeah. As an individual, I don't fall under the remit, for example, for phone recordings, etc., and I don't need to give people's advance notice. You want to make a note of this, if like Section 36 of the Data Protection.
Okay, I just want to be confirmed to you that I don't give you permission to record myself, so I can't help you any further. What
do you record your calls?
If you've got any queries, you're more than welcome to put it in writing.
Do you record your calls?
We can't help you any further because I don't give you permission to record myself.
Do you record your calls?
Okay.
There are almost 30 million cars licensed for use on the road in Great Britain, with 77% of households owning at least one. And when we're not driving them, we're parking them. Private car parking companies are taking advantage of this, offering to police car parks on behalf of landowners. But who is policing the private car parking industry? And if you get a ticket, is there anything you can do about it? I came to Billericay to meet Barry Beavis, a chip shop owner who got a ticket from Parking Eye, a private parking company, in 2013. Barry is fighting his case through the courts, hoping to serve up some justice.
Got a series of letters through the post from the private parking company. I didn't know what to do, so I went online to get some advice, and the consensus seemed to be to just ignore it. There's nothing they can do. That turned out to be quite bad advice, because several months later I got a summons to my local magistrates court, where they were taking me to court for breach of contract for an £85 charge.
The whole business model of most private parking companies is one where they provide the service to the landowner for free, and they install the cameras, the signs and everything else without any charge, and it means then that they have to get all their income from penalty charges. This means there is an incentive on them to issue as many as possible.
Barry's case went to court and was found in favour of the parking company. The judge said there was commercial justification for making the charge. This marks the first time ever that a consumer has been at the wrong end of a commercial justification clause.
And it's been always the case that if the primary purpose of a charge is to deter breach of contract, it should be struck down as a penalty. In more recent times, i.e. in the 2000s, courts have actually said, well, hold on a minute, if there is commercial justification for the charge, it needn't be struck down as a penalty. But all of those cases have been between large corporations where the contracts were negotiated in advance by teams of lawyers. That's not the same thing, in our opinion, as a contract for parking, where it's a unilateral contract imposed by a parking company against a private individual.
In English law, if a contract is breached, then the aggrieved party can only claim back the amount that they estimate they have lost. But what about car parks that offer free parking? In the past, it was hard for parking companies to argue that there had been any financial loss caused by motorists staying longer than they were permitted. Parking Eye are contesting this in their case against Barry.
But what they also said was that although it had all the characteristics of a penalty, there was justification for it, because if the parking company, Parking Eye, couldn't enforce their charges, there could be chaos in the car park, and there could be a situation where Parking Eye might lose their contract with the landowner.
If you don't pay for your parking ticket right away, the parking company will ask the DVLA for your name and address. To do this, they must be a member of an accredited trade association, or ATA. There are currently two ATAs, the British Parking Association and the Independent Parking Committee. To become an ATA, a company must set up an independent appeals service. The BPA has Poplar and the IPC has the Independent Appeals Service. However, the DVLA were not willing to share their vetting process with me, and many people are concerned that the Independent Appeals Service might not be so independent after all. I need an expert opinion. I've come to Wiltshire to meet Alex Shipp, who runs the popular Parking Prankster blog, advising people how to fight unfair tickets.
So I have a large number of issues with the IPC appeal service. The biggest one is that the assessors are not named, and so that allows them to be chosen not at random, but from people who support the worldview of the people who run the service, and that's quite apparent from the results that we see. If you look at the board of directors of the IPC, it's exactly the same as the people that run Gladstone Solicitors. So what I'm very worried about is that if somebody appeals, it gets turned down, and then the parking company go to Gladstone's and say, please file a court case on my account. And of course, Gladstone's are therefore benefiting directly from their own appeals service.
Gladstone Solicitors instigate legal proceedings when IAS appeals are found in favour of the parking company. Alex is suggesting that, since IPC Director John Davies and Company Secretary William Hurley are also directors of Gladstone Solicitors, that it is not an independent service. IPC have refused to comment on the issue. So what is the solution?
So I think the solution is to have one appeals body, one set of standards, and it applied at government level rather than by the parking companies themselves. That will allow it to be fair, to put everybody playing from the same playing field, and that will hopefully solve the problem.
Even people within the parking industry agree reform is necessary. Patrick Troy, the director of the BPA, the other accredited trade association, told me this.
What we're doing is we're calling on the government to introduce some regulation around this, to establish a standard setting body. We think there should be a body which is part of the government machinery, and that will guarantee That was, you still have all these different ATAs, because there could be more than just the two that there are at the moment, but they would have to comply with a single body which owns a single code of practice.
With both the industry and motorists hoping for government legislation, all eyes look to the Supreme Court. Barry's case is due to be heard on the 21st of July 2015, and he's determined to fight his corner.
Because I lost at Cambridge, I was ordered to pay 80 quid to the parking company and 50 quid costs, which I've had to do. So I have actually paid already. But I'm so angry and so motivated that I can't just let it rest there. I shall have to pursue this through the courts.